Hello and welcome to the Level 3 NVQ in Occupational Health and Safety Practice, which is accredited by City and Guilds. I am Martin Grant, Head of Distance Learning for Corporate Risk Systems Limited, and we've been delivering NVQs and other training courses for a large number of years. The following presentation is designed to help you get started with your studies. The Level 3 NVQ is a vocational qualification which provides an alternative route to sitting an examination. Many employers now prefer vocational qualifications over examinations, as it demonstrates not only that you have the knowledge and understanding of the subject, but also that you're able to apply this within the workplace. To achieve the qualification, you will put together an online portfolio of competency-based evidence, which may include work-related products such as copies of risk assessments, reflective reports, presentations, minutes, witness testimonies, and assessor-led observations and professional discussions. The course can be completed at your own pace and by using your own individual style. Your evidence will cover a large range of health and safety management topics, including reducing risk, developing and monitoring procedures for working safely, health and safety culture, and carrying out a risk assessment. There are 5 mandatory units, each with their own assessment criteria, which must be satisfied in order to achieve the qualification. Please take time to read through them. There are a further 4 optional units, from which you must choose and complete 2 units. Each of the main units are broken down into elements, and each element has a number of assessment criteria. Taking Unit 304 as an example, this unit has 4 elements. The first of which is 1.1. All units are structured in the same way. You will need to provide a minimum of 2 pieces of evidence for each assessment criteria. You will upload your evidence to our online delivery platform called Learning Assistant. More details about this system will follow. All of your work will also be assessed and verified online. This cuts down on the vast amount of paperwork that would otherwise be required and allows you to work around your other commitments and study at a time that is convenient to you. It also facilitates a faster turnaround time for assessments to take place and for you to receive valuable feedback on your progress. So where do you start? You may decide to complete the units in chronological order, but strictly speaking, you're free to do them in any order you wish. If, for example, you're currently involved in a work project, such as carrying out a risk assessment, then it makes absolute sense to tackle Unit 305, which relates to that activity at the same time. You will need to read the assessment criteria for each unit and possibly research any areas that you're not familiar with. Next, identify and upload your evidence. Write and upload a reflective report. One of these is required for each of the main units. And submit the unit for assessment. Your evidence must be your own work, and it must demonstrate your competence in relation to each assessment criteria. Here is a list of acceptable evidence. Please take time to read it. Your evidence must not be work produced by others. For example, we do not need to see copies of HSE publications unless they've been reviewed and annotated by yourself to show their applicability within your workplace. Blank forms are not considered strong evidence. It's much better to show a worked example. And lastly, City and Guilds have computerised systems to detect plagiarism, so don't chance it, it will result in disqualification. Your assessor will be looking to see that your evidence is valid. In other words, is the evidence you're presenting relevant to the assessment criteria and appropriate to allow a judgment of your competence? Is it authentic? Have you produced the evidence yourself, and is it your own work? Is it signed and dated? Is it current? Does it show that you can consistently perform to the required standard now? Normally, evidence presented should be no older than 2 years. And is it sufficient? Is there a sufficient range of evidence to prove your competence? Sufficient evidence doesn't mean lots of the same evidence, but a balance of different types. Reflective practice is currently a hot topic and a technique you will need to master should you wish to join IOSH. The primary purpose of reflective practice is to demonstrate your ability to analyse the personal professional practice you've carried out in order to produce your evidence. You're required to produce a reflective report for each unit, and this report should place your evidence in some context and explain to your assessor how it satisfies the assessment criteria. This example, showing part of a reflective report, relates to assessment criteria 1.1 of Unit 304. Hopefully this provides some insight into how you should approach your report writing, how much to write, and how to cross-reference your evidence. To provide an overview of the whole process, as I've already mentioned, you need to produce your evidence and a reflective report for each unit, then upload it onto Learning Assistant and submit it to your assessor. Your work will then be assessed and either returned for further work or accepted and locked down. Once accepted, your assessor will submit the work to internal verification, and there's also an external verification process. There's various sources of further information available. You will have received an automated email from Learning Assistant with your login details, including the web address to go to, your username and password. And when you log in, you will have direct access to your assessor and will be able to contact them via the system. You will have received a further introductory email from CRS, which will include hyperlinks to 2 important pieces of information. One is the link to this presentation, and the other is a link to our guidance manual, Getting Started with Learning Assistant. It's crucial that you read this manual, as it contains step-by-step guidance on how to use Learning Assistant, how to upload and submit your work for assessment. Here are some other useful contacts which you should store and keep available. There will be opportunities for you to attend regular NVQ open days at our Derby offices, where you can sit in on presentations, meet other learners and exchange notes and ideas, and also raise any issues with your assessor. That concludes the presentation, and I wish you luck with your studies. Thank you.